So we're here, the final chapter of Alice's journey back home. And I must say, this has been a very fun, very exciting experience. I was not expecting it to be as intriguing for me personally when I started off. It was like I knew what I wanted to do, I knew I had the capacity to do it, but I was in fear that it was not going to come together the way it has. And I'm excited to say it's come together pretty fluidly. And from the feedback I've gotten, I was successful in what I was trying to achieve. So I'm excited about that. A lot of internal benefits have occurred through this whole process as well, to where, being in Wonderland every night has been I've gotten used to it. So it's gonna be sad after this last chapter, after this last episode tonight. So I want to thank everybody who has participated, everybody who has binged the episodes back to back. I'm really excited that I made something that was family friendly that you can listen to with your kids. I'm very happy that I was able to share with you all my artwork and that side of me that a lot of people don't get to experience, and just dabble into a whole nother level of creativity that can kind of enhance, podcasting. So the 30-day challenge was a success. Like, the point was content creation for creatives, accountability. And I have to say, I've checked those boxes. So I'm excited about that. Now, oh yeah, here's our intro. Hey, this is Michelle with Relationships Through the Looking Glass podcast. Thank you so much for coming on over back into Wonderland to see what's about to go down. Yeah, I figured since this is the last episode, I might as well throw the intro in. Now, I do have one more day left. One more day. That will be tomorrow. But it will be wrapping up the whole experience. And yeah. So without further ado, let's get started. So as they arrived into the kingdom, yeah, we're calling it a kingdom now, because once the gate opened, the term village didn't do it justice. And from the look on Rabbit's face, he completely agreed. Alice, what's happening? As he looks at everybody rushing into the carriage. Look, Rabbit, Alice said, things are going to move really, really fast, but I need you to trust me. Do you trust me? Alice said as she looked at Rabbit. I guess I have to at this point. No, do you trust me? Yeah, I guess. Why? Look, I'll explain everything later. I just need you to trust me. I'll explain everything later. As soon as she said that, the doors flew open. Your Majesty, welcome back. She said, look, I have a friend here. I need him to be set up with his own handler and assistant. What? Said one of her assistants. The rabbit needs a handler and assistant? Yes, he does. Do not harm a piece of fur from his tip of his floppy ears to the bottom of his cottontail. Okay, said her assistant. They brought over the royal pillow, gently placed the rabbit on the pillow, and off they were. One direction, and Alice was swooped over to a whole other direction. She is brought into her palace to all the murmur and the chatter and the chattering. Shh, she said. I can hear each and every one of you. Look, I will explain this in due time. But right now, I need to take a bath. You absolutely do, said the one closest to her. I heard that, Alice said. As they went up the stairs, her other assistant came up to her and said, What? exactly are you wearing? And when is the last time you took a bath? And we definitely need to get these braids out and your hair washed. Come. Why do you always act like you're my mother? Alice said. Well, Alice, if you didn't act like a child most of the time, I wouldn't have to act this way, now would I? Not funny, said Alice. So a group of ladies get her into the bathroom. She's getting washed, and they're talking amongst themselves. Do you know where she went? I have no idea. What about the guy she was with? Any signs of him? Absolutely none. That is so weird. I can hear you, Alice said. Oh, we're sorry, Your Majesty. So, the gentleman you were with, whatever happened to him? I don't want to talk about it. Okay. So, where'd you go? I don't want to talk about it, Alice said. Okay. Well, this is not going to be a really long conversation, now is it? No, said Alice. I will explain everything in due time. Right now, I need to reintroduce myself to my people. You absolutely do, and there's a stack full of things waiting for your signature and approval on your desk. Great, said Alice. Home, sweet home. So just then, she gets out the tub. They're trying on new dresses, combing her hair, and it's just a chaotic experience for Alice. And she starts to think, gee, I really wish I miss the days when I was just walking on the mountain or just meditating by the river. And it felt like she was in the eye of the hurricane of all the commotion that was circling around her. She did remember that the mermaid told her whenever she needed to connect to just go into a meditative state and she would connect with them. And that's what she did. As they were pulling and yanking on her, brushing her hair, rolling it up, she went into a meditative state to connect with the mermaid. And she knew she connected because she could hear the faint singing of the mermaid's song. And she asked, how am I supposed to get my people to trust me again? How am I supposed to get them to see I won't make the same decisions? And the answer she got back was just to be who you are, an authentic person who made a decision but has learned from her mistakes. That's all you can be. And with that response, she knew what she had to do. So as she found herself back in her bedroom, all the commotion had hushed, she looked down and saw this glamorous white dress. Her hair was done, her makeup was done, and she was ready to greet her people. All right, Your Majesty, are you ready? Yes, I am. So she stood up and she walked out to the foyer, and she looked down where there were hundreds and hundreds of her village people, and she said, "Hi, I'm back." "No, that is not how this goes," said a whisperer on the side. "We have to announce you." "Do we really have to do this?" Alice said. "Yes, now back up." So Alice takes some steps back. They sound the trumpet, and they make the announcement. All rise as we welcome back our queen, the Queen of Hearts. Applause and screaming and yelling and happy laughter filled the air. And as Alice looked down, she saw Rabbit, who wasn't happy at all, but terrified. See, Alice knew that her ancestors and Rabbit ancestors weren't really close, weren't even friends at all, kind of more like enemies. And she knew if Rabbit had any idea who she was, that their relationship would have not had a chance to grow into what it was. So as she waved to the crowd, And she saw that they accepted her for who she was. She felt at peace, but she knew the conversation with Rabbit was coming. So she stepped back and then walked down the stairs to where Rabbit was and said, "Hey, can we talk?" Rabbit said, "Do I have a choice?" Probably not." So Rabbit hopped on over, and they were able to walk off on their own as Alice turned to Rabbit and said, "Look, I know it's probably a bit unsettling that I'm the Queen of Hearts." "You think?" said Rabbit. "You do know the history of the Queen of Hearts and the long disagreements, I guess you could say, between us and your family?" "Yeah, and I know there's a long history with my ancestors about off with their heads and horrible court cases and..." "I know, I get it. That's why I didn't want to tell you. I'm nothing like them. If anything, I'm trying to clear up their karma. A lot of life was lost by the hands of the previous Queens of Hearts. A lot of people were mistreated. A lot of land was taken. And I know for myself, in my standing here, I have a lot of work to do. And it's taken so long just to regain the trust of my kingdom." "Yeah, and about that," said Rabbit, "you're kind of the Queen of Wonderland." "Yeah. So you were saying village. That's a horrible misrepresentation," said Rabbit. "I know. So how did you even get lost in your own kingdom?" "Well, I'm never really allowed to go beyond the gates. And if I ever do, it's for training, or there are soldiers and knights with me to protect me. So when I walked off with the wolf, he was taking me into areas I had never been. So even though I was the queen and I was ruler over all of this area, I didn't know anything about it because I never went there." "Interesting," said Rabbit. "So, is that why you started chasing me?" "Well, the thing about that," Alice said, "and I don't know if it's in my DNA or just some historical leftovers, but right when I saw you, the white rabbit, I knew I was supposed to follow it." "Yeah, from the history of your people, though, was probably to follow it for some really scary reasons." "No, I just felt I needed to follow you. And look, we've become the best of friends. So I knew telling you I was the Queen of Hearts would have not even allowed us to get to a conversation. You would have ran and hid, and I never would have seen you again, and I might not ever gotten home." "Yeah, I guess you're right. Because honestly, if you would have told me you were the Queen of Hearts in the beginning, I probably would never have seen you again." "Yeah, I know. But I do have a question for you." "What's that?" said Rabbit. "How about I give you an official title?" "Really?" "Yeah, an official title over all of Wonderland." Said Rabbit. "I kind of like how that sounds." "Title like what?" said Rabbit. "I don't know, you tell me. I can kind of do whatever I want, you know?" "Yeah, except find your way home by yourself." "Ha ha," Alice said. "But seriously, what title do you want?" "You know what? I've always thought Lord P. Costello had a nice ring to it." "Well, there it is. You are now Lord Costello. And you're going to have an official duty, a royal duty." "Really?" said Rabbit. "What's that?" I want you to be the messenger of information and communication throughout all of Wonderland. When people see you, they know that you're bringing them information that can help them, that they can learn from, and they can send information back. I like that, said Rabbit. Let's make that happen. It's already done, said Alice. So she looked over to one of her assistants and said, find him a coat and bow tie of the finest material. And let's introduce Lord Constello to his people. Yes, Your Majesty, yes, Your Majesty. But there's someone here to see you. Really? Said Alice. Somebody from the kingdom? No, he's from a neighboring kingdom. But he's been waiting here for a while for you. We've told him we didn't know when you were coming back or even if you were coming back. And he actually kind of helped us out while you were gone. Really? Yeah. Interesting. And where is this gentleman? He's right over here. Come over. So she takes Alice over to a part of the palace where visitors come. And as she walked in the door, a gentleman stood up and said,
Hello, Alice.
And she looked at him and smiled and responded, welcome. Welcome to Wonderland. And while she wasn't too sure of this new individual who has come into her kingdom and wasn't sure of all the adventures that await her, she was sure that sooner or later she would see the sorcerer again and hear the call of the wolf. But she wasn't afraid because she knew she was a new person, and everything that she went through has prepared her for what's in store. She was the Queen of Hearts. She was the Queen of Wonderland. And that's where we end our chapter episodes of the 30-day challenge. So the secret that Alice was hiding is she is the Queen of Hearts. And if you follow or know the original Alice in Wonderland story, the Queen of Hearts was not a nice person. Not a nice person at all. And that's the reason why she kept that a secret from the rabbit, because she did not want past interactions or past behaviors to tarnish a budding relationship with the rabbit, right? She didn't want behaviors of other people to look bad on her, because she was doing the work to change the narrative from what her ancestors had done. So the secret of the whole 30-day challenge is Alice is not just a queen, but the Queen of Hearts. So, yeah, and that ends the story. Or does it? Because do we really know who this individual is who's returned or come to Wonderland? I don't know. Maybe there'll be a second segment. Who knows? What I do know is I've had a blast. I really appreciate everybody who has participated. Definitely come back in the next 24 to hear some tidbits about just this whole process, the whole creative process of Wonderland, of Alice, of her journey home. We've already got the inspiration for each character, but I'm going to give you some insight about the inspiration for the storyline as a whole. And, little Easter eggs and little layers of information that you might have missed, I'll be sharing that as well. So hopefully you come back tomorrow as we officially end the 30-day challenge on day 30. And I look forward to hearing any feedback or any guesses on who this individual who has shown up at Wonderland is. Curious to see what you all think. But as always, everyone out there, you take care, stay safe, and be well.